Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow, Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP. Tim, always a pleasure to have you here on the program.
Hey, Peter. Thanks for having me.
It is great to have you, Tim, and offering the perspective that you do to help people through these complex financial issues as we plan, prepare for, and make the transition into retirement. Tim, it's a big change, isn't it?
It truly is. I've seen it with my father. I've seen it with one of my brothers, a sister. It's definitely when it's close to home, you get to really see what it does to people, good and bad. And, that's why we need to really kind of keep an eye on things as you go into retirement that you might not think of.
And Tim, one of the biggest changes is we no longer have that paycheck to count and rely on. I mean, we do that intentionally, right? Any other phase in our lives, when we go without a paycheck, we might panic a little bit, but we actually intend to not have a paycheck in retirement.
That's right. That's the way to go about it. Obviously, and I say this all the time on this show, is that we talk about is having an income allocation plan, a written income plan. That's not a worry for our clients that have gone through that. For someone who doesn't know what's going to happen on the 15th of the next month that they've retired, I feel bad for them because, you need to have a plan. And failure to have a plan is having a plan. And it's been proven no one sleeps well at night when they're going through that. Just kind of winging it, as they say, is not the way to do it. But that's one of the things that we're here to talk about. The other thing is, though, I want to talk about is the three biggest retirement expenses and, trying to control them, when you go into retirement, because I see a lot of baby boomers out there that aren't really prepared for what's out there in retirement. So let's dive into it.
Yeah, well, Tim, when we are planning on not having a paycheck and we only got that finite amount of money that we retire with, we better take some time to identify what the expenses are going to be and then formulate that plan, ladies and gentlemen, that income allocation plan for how you are going to generate, how your portfolio is going to generate the income that you need to tackle, cover, and address these expenses and more throughout retirement. And we all want the retirement to be about the and more. So we've got to at least cover those basics and to formulate that plan, because it's been shown that 9 out of 10 Americans do not have a written retirement income plan. So let's get yours together. Give a call. Tim Stearns, CFP, the team at TJ Stearns offer to put together that Protect and Grow written retirement income plan for you. 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, or you can visit online, get the conversation started there, tjstearns.com, tjstearns.com. And Tim, I think that the name of the plan, the name of the program, Protect and Grow, is pretty apropos, because when we do walk away from those paycheck earning years, those are the two main things that we really need our portfolio to do. In fact, we probably want to do that all along the way, but then there's a third one in retirement, and that is generate some income for us. So now we've got 3 different tasks, and I know that money's kind of a terrible multitasker. So we really need to address which dollars are doing which job.
Well, a lot of people, unfortunately, aren't aware of the fact that any of the money that they're taking out of their IRAs, their 401ks, all that's going to be taxed, and with that, you have tax bills, and back when you were working, your company withheld X amount, and hopefully you didn't owe too much come April 15th. But now it's kind of up to you to make sure that whether you need to do quarterly payments, whether you need to withhold from the place that you're taking the money out of and be proactive about it. How are you doing that? And that, again, it fits like a glove with having a written income allocation plan. So the largest unknown expense in retirement is taxes. And we know for a fact that right now taxes are the lowest they've been since the 1920s. The current tax bill will sunset at the end of 2025. And at that point, I've never had anyone in one of my classes say no to this. Everyone thinks taxes are going to go up. the new tax bill will be exorbitantly higher, just due to the fact that the federal government is spending too much money. We have a huge deficit we need to cover. So our largest unknown expense in retirement is taxes.
Well, I mean, taxes are all but a certainty. I mean, scratch that. They are a certainty, right? As Ben Franklin said, only two things in life are certain: death and taxes, right? So it's not that it is unknown if we will pay taxes. We certainly will. They do not stop in retirement. But Tim, the amount for most people is unknown. However, you've got some pretty sophisticated planning tools that help people really drill down on what that likely tax bill and liability over their lifetime is going to be, right?
Well, one of the softwares that we have really takes it apart and shows you how much your taxes will be. So someone would give us a qualified amount that they're working with. Let's say I have $2 million in my 401k/IRA that, again, has never been taxed by the IRS. How much do I actually owe over my lifetime? And will my beneficiaries owe on that $2 million? And it is really frightening if you get to see it, because what it's going to break it down as is it'll show, number one, what you're going to pay personally. You have your required minimum distributions, et cetera. Secondly, most people, when they have to take out that required minimum distribution, which by the time a lot of our listeners will be that, it'll be 75 years old, you'll have to be taking this money out. And you see people kind of going slower at that point. So they might not use all the money that they took out. They put it into yet another investment, which generates a tax as well. And the last one would be what your beneficiaries pay. So you have three components to that, and this software will break it down in each area to show you that. More importantly, and I think the thing that people are looking for out there is, how do you save on taxes? It will show you a strategy, and it'll also tell you that if you do that strategy, how much you will actually save.
So if you'd like to quantify the likely amount of that tax bill over your lifetime, see the strategies and opportunities to control it, reduce it, minimize it, even in certain cases, eliminate some of the unnecessary taxes, ladies and gentlemen, pick up the phone, give a call. Tim Stearns, CFP, and the team from TJ Stearns Inc. can run those numbers, can crunch the numbers in your situation on their advanced planning tax software, and can show you the side-by-side comparison. Now, if you'd like to see that for your situation, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, even though we've got that kind of looming deadline where if nothing is done, current tax rates expire, and then they go back up starting in 2026, even though we've got that date out there, it's probably not an all at once process if we want to manage those taxes, right? We take bites off the apple at a time.
What I always say is you're nibbling on that tax bill. So yes, you would do it little at a time, but I like the software that we've used that just shows you what your total bill is if you don't do anything, so every little bit helps, especially the next 3 years. You have 2023, 2024, and 2025 to actually do something about this. Taxes are the lowest they've been. So if you are finishing up working, if you're making less than you used to, right now is a great time to give that a shot. So I think it's very important that people understand that that's the way to go.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to crunch the numbers for your own specific situation, I encourage you to pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, if a conversation, a specific planning direction, recommendations have not been had about this single subject, what is likely our largest expense in retirement, is that not the tip of the iceberg that, hey, we may be really missing some important context in our total comprehensive planning?
Well, one of the things we hit people with right off the bat is if they say they need $100,000 to live on, I will ask them, is that post or pre-tax? Are they netting out that number? Is that the number?
Blank stares.
Yeah, exactly. And people, I've had people say, well, I don't want to pay taxes on that money. Well, unfortunately, your partner for life, besides your spouse, the IRS, begs to differ. And there is a bill there that you're going to need to pay. So I always tell people, make sure that you understand that if you're giving us an amount that you want to live on per year, you need to make sure you tell us, is that net or is that a gross number? Because most of your money, most of your net worth is from a 401k that's never been hit by taxes.
Now, Tim, that's what we've been taught to do, right? For a generation, we have been told, hey, defer, delay, put the money in the 401k, don't pay taxes now because taxes will be lower in retirement. And I don't believe we should be kicking ourselves for that, because over the last 30, 35 years, have taxes not come down?
They have not for a long time. And then they finally did. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people have paid attention to the fact that right now taxes are on sale. So these are things that we help our clients with. And again, the largest known expense that we have out there will be our taxes. So why not get ahead of it? The next one that I like to talk about with our clients is a largest potential expense, and that is healthcare. It's hard to put a number on that. And if anyone has had any type of surgeries or anything, my wife just had a knee replacement. Healthcare is very expensive. I don't care if you're on Medicare or if you have a plan of your own. So these are things that are potential large expense that we need to kind of get ahead of. And, Medicare does not provide anything for long-term care. Some people think that, or they use Medicaid, which is for less financially, struggling people, and put that together with Medicare, they're getting it mixed up. So the largest potential expense, healthcare is something we need to look at.
Tim, this is a scary one. I mean, this is one that even if we are well funded for retirement, can wipe out even an ample kind of savings and nest egg. And I think one of the big reasons why this is such a concern, especially for married couples, is maybe not even the impact on ourselves. It's the impact that we could leave on our spouse and or family if we incur this. That's why it really deserves some very careful, prudent planning and discussion.
Absolutely. And the biggest one that I see people absolutely blowing off is long-term care. And we've talked about this ad nauseum, but 7 out of 10 Americans are going to need some type of care in their lifetime when they get older. And 9 out of 10 of us haven't addressed that. People realize that they're going to have Medicare and that there'll be costs with that. But it seems like with long-term care, we just kind of want to push that down and say, well, it's not going to happen to me. But 7 out of 10 chances that you're going to need it, and it needs to be addressed.
Is there a good answer for this, Tim, or there's just the best bad answer that we have?
The best bad answer you have, if you're looking at it, is trying to get together on what you're going to have to pay for 2 people in most cases for Medicare. Then we have to talk about IRMA, which is the Medicare surcharge if you're making too much in retirement. But, here's the good news. If you come to us, we're going to be able to boil that down for you and show you what those costs are. And that would go into your income allocation plan. We don't just go, well, we'll budget X amount for that. No, we're going to have a discussion and make sure we understand what kind of numbers need to be in there. That is absolutely pertinent. But for long-term care, there are great hybrid life insurance policies out there that my wife and I own, for example, that help with that. They have a chronic care rider that will, if I cannot do 2 of my activities of daily living, my wife can pull down on the death benefit of that tax-free for my care. And, I've seen a lot of people in my life who've had to have care, that you don't wish that upon anybody. But most importantly, the costs can just absolutely be detrimental to a retirement.
I think for most any kind of insurance, Tim, we hope never to have to use it, right? I buy auto insurance because I am careful, because I am responsible. I certainly hope never have to use it. And if I do sell that vehicle without ever having been in an auto accident or in need of making that claim, it's not like the insurance company refunds me all of my premiums or pays me the benefit they would have paid if I had been in an accident. But that is essentially what it sounds like you're describing here. If we do take the proactive steps to help protect ourselves and our loved ones and family and protect our assets against the potential of those long-term care expenses.
Well, I'm a big believer in this insurance. And why is that? Because I talk about this in our retirement classes. there is no insurance out there that you hope you get to use. I don't sit there and go, man, if I get really sick, I can't wait to go to the emergency room and see that what, my insurance will pay for me. Right. So, I mean, long-term care is a different kind of beast. It is not use it or lose it. That's how the policies used to be. The new policies are hybrid. Again, there's a life insurance component to it, a cash value component to it, and of course, chronic care component to it, so that no matter what dollar you put in there, you're going to bring something out. Again, whether it's a death benefit, whether it's going to be for your long-term care, or just taking cash out of it, which is tax-free as well. So there is a bang to your buck. But again, to your point, who wants to use any type of insurance?
Well, again, if you would like to get that plan put together, if you would like to look over the risks, issues, and opportunities, if you would like to get that Protect and Grow written retirement income plan, helping you maximize where you can generate income, helping you identify how much your portfolio is going to have to fill in the rest of the gaps, and then identifying the most appropriate investment options to do that job, pick up the phone and give a call to Tim Stearns, CFP, TJ Stearns, Inc. Office conveniently located in Arlington Heights for an in-person visit and consultation to review and evaluate and get that plan designed and put together. Or you can start that conversation virtually, but that whole process starts with just a phone call, ladies and gentlemen. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Or visit online, tjstearns.com. tjstearns.com. Tim, I've also heard the conversation of being self-insured against these potential expenses. And while I feel like that's a pretty confident kind of financial stance and position to be in, I could maybe say the same thing about my home, whatever my home value is. I take that money, stick it in the bank, and now I'm self-insured. Is that the smartest way to do it, though? I think not, right?
Well, I definitely agree with you that is not the smartest way. We're looking at, with this life insurance hybrid that I speak of, it's all about leverage, right? Whatever money I put into there, someone in the Stearns family is going to come out with big payments out of that, whether it's for my care, whether it's a death benefit that's absolutely tax-free. So I extrapolating wealth. I mean, this is how the wealthy in the United States have done it for years. They use life insurance. I think the middle class, upper middle class that listens to the show, some of us miss that message. I don't need life insurance. I'm, 70 years old. No, you don't, but you might, and you should definitely explore it. And 7 out of 10 people say that you are going to need it. So I would definitely unchurn that rock and see what's underneath it. And
Tim, if you can meet that description of being self-insured as it is, then in all likelihood, you probably will leave a legacy. Why not leave a leveraged tax-free legacy while protecting the assets that are giving you the confidence to say that you could reasonably be self-insured, right?
Well, there's some reasons that the Waldens who own, the Walmarts, the Kennedys have all done financial planning this way. I think that speaks volumes as to what kind of wealth that they've been able to pass on. And I'll say it again, tax-free.
It's not just a secret of the wealthy, though, ladies and gentlemen. Right. It's just something, unfortunately, that has been overlooked in a lot of people's planning conversations, how to protect and grow not only your assets, your income, your financial impact and legacy, but make sure that you've got those safeguards in place. And that is what the Protect and Grow plan is all about. Again, today, talking about the 3 largest expenses that we are likely to face in retirement: taxation, healthcare expenses, and we've got number 3 still left to go. But if you would like to formulate that Protect and Grow plan, pick up the phone now and give Tim Stearns, CFP, and TJ Stearns, Inc. a call. 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. So, Tim, we've covered those 2 main ones that I think are concerns for everybody. One that we know is going to hit us, one that if it does, it can be very significant. What about this third one? We've heard it called the silent thief, but I feel like it's been shouting recently.
Oh, the silent thief, better known as inflation, has been shouting this whole past year or so. The Fed's, main work of the past year has been to get this thing under control. At one point it was at 9%. Think about that. One of the things I like to do as an exercise in my retirement class is I ask around the room how much gas costs when they start driving. And people are, oh, 50 cents, maybe like when I started, 99 cents. And we're looking at the Chicagoland area, it's over $4 without trying everywhere. So this is something to show people this is a silent thief. And one of the other examples we give is that in 1976, you could buy 4 tires for $200 at Sears installed. And nowadays, I just bought tires for my son. They were over $1,500 at the place in Arlington Heights that I went to. And I didn't buy anything totally high end. And of course, I didn't go low end because I want him to be safe. But to me, that shows a great example of what inflation does.
89 cents. Tim, 89 cents a gallon. I remember where we could
Sure.
dig in the little cup holder for pocket change and actually get somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that doesn't get you very far at all.
No, maybe to the next gas station down the road. But Tim, again, inflation significant in this short term. And here's the rub is that we need equity investment, right? To stay ahead of inflation, except when inflation is kind of more severe, rearing its ugly head like it has been over the past year to year and a half, typically the markets simultaneously experience some challenges because of that inflation, right?
Well, take a look at last year. The averages that I'm seeing come into our office that accounts were down last year is around 20%. But 22% for the 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds is the average. So it's a double whammy. You have inflation going up and then the market's not cooperating. In the example of 60%, the average was about 18%. It was down, right? On the S&P 500, that's the best performing one. And bonds across the board were down about 13%. The safe bastion that places that you would go for safety of your money. So that is a bad situation when you have all that compiled on top of each other, and then you have inflation. Your portfolio is getting wrecked, and everything that you're trying to buy is more expensive.
Well, again, we've got a plan for it. And Tim, that's another big risk and issue is that a lot of people's retirement projections kind of assume that they're going to need a flat level income for the duration of retirement. That's just not reality.
No, not at all. And any of our plans, we at least put 3% in. We had a woman the other day who actually wanted 4%. And with inflation just coming back the other day at 3.02%, and the long-term average of over 115 years of the average being 3.15%, we definitely want to put that as a component on an income allocation because your dollar today will not be worth what it is in 20 years.
No, again, talking with Tim Stearns, CFP, he designs the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan, ladies and gentlemen. If you would like a plan that specifically addresses these 3 largest expenses in retirement, as well as addresses the risks, issues, and opportunities that you have to provide that protection and leverage and growth over time, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, adding up all of the expenses, retirement can be pretty costly. If we do not have a specific plan to address these expenses, we've only got that finite amount of money. I have to imagine that leads to a lack of confidence and a lot of uncertainty.
I think you just described anxiety. And if I didn't know what the bill was for what I'm trying to do in retirement, I don't know how I could sleep at night. So I need to have an income allocation plan. That's the end of the story. Yeah. And people are dragging their feet because they don't want to know if it's going to be a bad answer. Well, I explain it to people all the time. It's like going to get your physical. You're dreading it, but if you leave there with a clean bill of health, you feel a lot better. I think if I know how I can get through an ideal retirement for the next 25, 30 years, I am going to sleep better. And why would I not at least explore an income allocation plan?
And what if you had no other money, no other assets, just this pay period's paycheck, and you had to make it last for the next month or the next 2 months? You didn't actually know how long you would have to make that last, but that was your last paycheck and you had no other assets. If you didn't have any kind of plan there, that would be pretty anxiety inducing. And essentially, I mean, on a larger scale, but that's exactly what retirement is. We've got our retirement nest egg and an unknown amount of time, decades or more, that we need to make it last. And the likelihood is that we'll see inflation, that we will see taxation changes, that we will see market volatility. That could be another costly expense, right?
Right. Volatility is not the friend of a retirement. So you need to make sure that you try to get ahead of it. By just going into it willy-nilly and hoping for the best is not the way to do it. We talk about this all the time in class. You need to work in the know, KNOW, knowing that you will be okay in retirement. If you don't, then good luck to you. You're going to be when it's hell and high water, you won't be real happy. And if last year was not a wake-up call to those people out there that haven't done a plan, I don't know what else would have been.
Well, Tim, you always make a number of resources available here on the program. But to wrap up this edition of the program, this segment, we've got a very special offer for folks, a great resource. Your new book is being released. Now, we're doing this as a pre-release special here, but if folks want to receive a copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle by Tim Stearns, CFP. Tim, excited to see this book released. It's been in the making for quite some time, and it's right around the corner when we're going to have that in our hands, and people can call up and pre-order an advance copy.
Yes, we're happy to get it into their hands. Again, it's been a long time coming. It's got a lot of great information in it. I've had a couple people read it, just to proof it, and they took a lot of good nuggets out of it, as they called it. And I think it will help anybody out there. And we'll be doing it with our classes too. So I think people will enjoy it.
Well, if you would like your advance copy, just call up and reserve it. And as soon as we get those in, printed, published, and in hand, we'll get a copy out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. To solve a riddle, sometimes you got to look at the problem a little different way. And I think that's what the perspective of this book is really all about. And of course, putting that plan in place, your specific Protect and Grow written retirement plan in place, is going to go a long way in helping to solve your retirement riddle. So pick up the phone, give a call right now to Tim Stearns, CFP, and TJ Stearns Inc. Request the book, your advanced copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, as well as the opportunity to get your Protect and Grow plan put together. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Tim, I'm excited about it. I know you are looking forward to getting it in a lot of people's hands across the Chicagoland area.
Yes, I am, Peter. I can't wait to get it to people and educate them.
Well, we always appreciate the time here on the program, Tim. Always great conversation, always good down-to-earth information about our money, our finance, and what we need to be doing to plan for the future.
Peter, it's my pleasure, and I look forward to it next week.
Tune into Chicagoland Certified Financial Planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.